What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiance Season 9, Episode 3, No You Didn't, with Kobe and Emily. Now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of this episode because I have a lot to say about Kobe and Emily. So let's get started. They're leaving the airport. They're in the car. They're on their way to the hotel. But poor Kobe at this moment still thinks that she's driving him to her home and he can finally meet his son because she still hasn't told him as of yet that they're not going to go home. They're going to go to a hotel, spend the night in a hotel, and then the next day they'll take off to go see her family and his son. That right there rubbed me absolutely the wrong way. You know, this man has an expectation of seeing his son, and you're waiting and you're lollygagging around until you feel like you're ready to tell him that we're not going to see him today or we're going to have to see him tomorrow. Girl, the fact that you knew that you were going to say something to let him down and you kind of just didn't really care about that, that rubbed me absolutely the wrong way. I thought that that was very cold-hearted, very selfish, and very manipulative for her to do that. It's not about you, sweetheart. It's about your child. And it's about the fact that your child and your fiance need to see each other, need to meet each other as soon as possible. You don't dictate of when they're going to start their relationship. That's not up to you. As the first opportunity available for him to see his baby, that opportunity should be taken, not pushed to the side until you're good and ready for it to happen. So she's so stressed. She's so pressed and obsessed with whether or not they're going to have that sexual spark, that sexual attraction. All she can think about it, will the sex be as good as it was when we were back in China? That is all she can think about. So when they're in the car, after she, I don't know when she told him. So in the car, so they're in the car, they're driving. And then she pulls out some lingerie. And she tells him this is what she's going to be wearing for him. And he says that our relationship in China was very physical. And I was like, okay, say less. As soon as he said that their relationship in China was very physical, and the fact that she's acting extremely focused, laser focused on their sexual chemistry, if it's going to be as good as it was in China, that right there told me that these two people, that's all they have in common. That's the only thing that keeps them together is this physicality. It's the sexual side of their relationship. That's the only thing that they have going for each other. And this is the reason why she's so worried about it, because this is all that she has to offer him. She's got nothing else to offer him other than her body. And with him, I'm thinking that, he wouldn't mind if the relationship was more than that, but she's not giving him anything else to work with. So he says that our relationship in China was very physical, but a lot has changed since then. I hope that what we experience is going to continue. Now, this was the running theme of their segment was, can we rekindle what we had in China? Can we get back what we had in China? Is it going to be as good as it was in China? That was the entire theme of their segment, was trying to go back into the past and bring the past into the present. So he wants to know that if they're going to be able to keep it hot and heavy and exciting like the way it was in China. But sweetheart, you're going to be living with her family, and you're going to be parenting a child. It's not going to be the same as it was in China. It's not going to be as exciting. Y'all were two single, hot and heavy people who met in a foreign country, and there was a lot of excitement there. That was another place, another time, and another world. That has got nothing to do with what's going on right now, right here in Salina, Kansas. China, Kansas have nothing to get your heads, get your minds out of what went down 2 or 3 years ago in China. Forget about it. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. Y'all will always have the memories, but I need both of y'all to come into the present and try to deal with what's going on today. So he seemed really disappointed because she finally did tell him. And of course, she kind of was like, stressing about it. So she finally did tell him that they're not going to be going to see his son today, that she got a hotel room for them and they're going to see the son the next day. And she tries to be like, I'm not trying to steal anything I'm not trying to like steal that moment from you. I'm not trying to like ruin that moment for you. Girl, stop. That's exactly what you're trying to do because you're putting your needs ahead of your child's needs. So he seemed really disappointed when she told him that he'll have to wait another day before, and he seemed really, really, really disappointed. He was disappointed when she told him. He was disappointed in his confessional. Like it really did something to him because he has this expectation, like when I land in America, I'm going to see my baby. Now, what I don't understand is why, number one, okay, let's talk about what she should have done. Let's talk about an alternative to what she wanted. What she should have done was she should have brought the baby with her because either way, because the airport was so far away from her home, either way, I guess she was going to have to spend the night in whatever city this is where the airport is at. She should have brought her baby with her. That's what she should have done so that he could have had this moment with just him, his baby, and the mother of his child. Just the three of them bonding for the very first time. That's what she should have done. That would have been the right thing to do. The alternative would have been, okay, leave the baby behind, go get your man, bring him right back so he can see his child as soon as possible. I mean, a 2-hour drive, it's not like a 12-hour drive. I know 2 hours is a long time to be driving back and forth, but he wants to see his kid. This, make an exception to the rule of a long drive. So then he gets home, you take him back to your home and he gets to see his son. And then y'all can still get a hotel the next day, the following weekend or whatever. There's like how many adults in your home that can watch your baby and you can still go spend time with your man alone. You can be gone for a whole week and leave the baby with your family so that you and him can have some alone time after he bonds with his child. So Emily keeps on telling him, well, I'm not trying to take away that moment for you and Coben. She says that this is going to be their only opportunity to be alone. How? How is this your only opportunity? Like I said, you have family members that can watch your kid like the way they're doing right now while you left to go pick him up at the airport and then took an extra night to spend with him so that y'all can knock boots. Like the way you did, how you did all of that. You left your kid with your family. Yeah, you can do that again. This is not going to be the only time y'all are going to have to be alone. So he finally agrees. He says he's okay with it because he saw how upset she was when he was kind of like, fighting back. So he finally relented and he acted like he was really happy about being alone with her. Yes. And I said he acted like he was really happy about being alone with her. So they go eat at a restaurant. That's the first thing that they do. They stop by at a restaurant and, she keeps on talking about how they'll never have another night alone again. It's like, girl, shut up. You're such a liar. You're lying. Y'all are going to have many, 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 many nights alone together. Stop. And then, so while they're sitting at this restaurant, he's looking around and he's uncomfortable. And he's like, wow, I'm the only black person in here. But they do spot like another black person in the restaurant. He's like, I'm the only black person. Kobe, stop. Okay, stop. Number one, you were living in China where you were the only black person. And at least in the United States, because he talked about how in China, because, the Chinese people were not really used to seeing like this big, tall black man. So he was like a spectacle. They were like, people were running up to him, asking him questions. People were saying that he was, was his skin dark because he was dirty. I mean, he went through it all in China. So you're here in Salina, Kansas, and you're kind of like, oh my God, I'm the only black person. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Because let me tell you something, Kobe. At least in the United States, people are not going to say those kind of things to you, to your face. They're not going to say those kind of things to you. If you're worried about racist people, they're not going to be that bold and that in your face with it. Okay. So that's the one thing that you can say maybe the United States has over China is because in China, they ran up to you and said all kinds of crazy things to you. You're not going to experience that in Salina, Kansas, because number one, they're used to having black people. There's a lot of black people in America. It's not like China. There's a whole ton of millions and gazillions of black people in America. So I didn't understand why he felt so uncomfortable because he went through this in China. And at least in America, they just kind of, they'll leave you alone because there's black people that live here. So He was really surprised about that. Okay, so then um, they talk about the cafe. Before he left, supposedly he had invested in a cafe. He put a whole bunch of money in a cafe. Then I guess he changed his mind. He got his money back, got his investment back, or he broke even or whatever. So he got his money back. So then she asked him, well, how much money did you come with to the United States? And he told her, oh, it's a surprise. And she didn't like that answer. She wanted to know exactly how much money he came with, because she wants to know how is he going to be able to provide. And I didn't understand why she was so like focused on this whole money situation, because she knows that he can't work. She knows that I guess he wasn't, I don't know if he was making a lot of money being an underwear model in China. I don't know. I have no idea. But she was like, really like, okay, so, I need to know what you're working with. I need to know right now because we have a wedding to plan. I need a dress. I need a ring. Da, 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 da. All this stuff that she wants him to provide for, to pay for. And I'm like, but girl, he just got here. And however much money he has, doesn't he need, I mean, why would he waste all of that on a wedding when he has a kid to take care of and you to take care of as well? Like, what was she expecting him to, like, she thinks that he should have came with like $1 million. I don't understand why she was like, you need to do this. He just arrived. He doesn't have anything. And if he does have something, it's not much. So stop putting all this pressure on him. So she talked about the ring. She says that, the ring that he proposed with, she doesn't like it because it's some cheapo ring that he bought off the streets in China somewhere. It looks like a gumball machine ring. And so she was like, yeah, I need to upgrade my ring. Are you going to buy me? I need a ring. I need a ring. I need a ring. And he was like, I'm going to get you a ring. Don't worry. I will get you a ring. And she goes, but I just don't want any $100 ring. And then in her confessional, she's like, I want a better ring because it's going to be passed down to my children. Stop. No damn ring is going to be passed down to your children. You want a better ring because you want to flaunt it. You want to floss in front of your friends and family and be like, oh, my man takes care of me. Look what my man. That's why you want a better ring. A bigger, better ring, it means something to you. You put some type of worth in that. You equate that with how he feels about you. Like, you equate whether or not y'all are going to have great, fantastic lovemaking. You equate that with whether or not this is a sustainable relationship. So your way of thinking is very, very skewed, Emily. So stop with the whole, I'm going to pass down this ring to my children and my future generation. Stop. So then, so she goes on and on about the whole, you need to get me a ring. I want you to buy me a ring, so on and so forth. And he tells her, don't worry about that. I'm going to get you a ring. And then he tells her to calm down. Because she's like going manic. And he's like, just relax, calm the hell down. This is our very first night together. Why are you acting like this? And then she says, I need to know these things because once we're with Coben, now this is when I was done with her. She says, I need to know all of these things because once we're with Coben, it's going to be all about Coben. Tonight's my night to get all of this out of you. So she's jealous of her own kid. She doesn't want to divide his, she doesn't want him to divide his attention between her and her own child. So she wants this night, it's going to be all about her needs, all about her wants, because once they go home, it's going to be all about Coben, and she's not going to be able to hold his attention like this. She is so worried about whether or not this guy is into her. She's like so worried about it because like the way she talked about, oh my God, is the sex going to be the same? Oh my God, I have to tell him all my wants and desires right now because once we get home, he's not going to even thinking about me. He's not even going to think about me because he's going to be so concerned about his son. He's going to give all of his attention to his child. So I got to get what I can out of who thinks like that. Like, instead of you being excited about, oh, my son's going to meet his father, my fiance is going to finally meet his child. Instead of being excited about that and focusing on that, you're worried about if the sex is going to be good. You're worried about, is he going to give me the ring that I want? So you're like, I'm going to trap him this one night so I can tell him exactly what I want out of him and he can start working towards that. Emily, you're kind of sick. Emily says if we don't have the same chemistry like we did in China, I don't know what we're going to do. Like I said, instead of worrying about what the hell happened in China, worry about what's happening now and what's going to happen in the future with y'all. I feel like all they had was the physical. They had nothing else, because the way when I look at Emily, when I listen to Emily, I don't think she has a lot going on. She thinks that the only way she can get a man and keep a man is with her body. And Kobe to me seems like someone who's a little bit deeper than that. He seems like someone who would appreciate an intelligent woman. He would appreciate an intellectual conversation. He would appreciate something beyond sex. But she feels like all she has to offer him is that. And that's why she's so worried and petrified. Is he going to like my body? How am I going to look? How am I going to look to him now that I've gained all this weight? Is he still going to find me attractive? Girl, shut up and sit down somewhere and try to worry more about your son. I would be worried about, how is my son going to take to his dad? Because this is like kind of like a stranger to him. That's what I would be worried about. Like, are they going to have that instant connection? Is he just going to be instantly like bonding with his father and just to accept his father right away? Or is he going to be scared? That's the thing that would be on my mind. Or I'd be like, I can't wait for Kobe to see him walking. And I can't wait for Kobe to see, where he's at right now with his milestones. And I can't wait to see Kobe's eyes when he finally, looks at his son. That's what I would be concerned about. Everything else is going to fall into place. Girl, it ain't that important. Okay, the sex, whatever it is that it ain't that important. Either it is what it is. If it ain't good, you can work on it. Don't worry about it, girl. Don't worry about it. Worry about the more important things as far as like, him developing a relationship with his son. That is my review of 90 Day Fiance, the Kobe and Emily edition. If you made it this far, I really do appreciate it. On your way out, don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, don't forget to subscribe. If you don't like it, don't worry about it. But thanks for stopping by anyway, and I will talk to you later.